Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's the channel Life as a Chad. And I thank you for listening in. This is one of my first videos. I've done, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 videos thus far. And the most popular one by far, even though it's not wildly popular or anything like that, is the video I made about Sydney Watson revealing that she is, in fact, a massive feminist. I remember I watched a video from, what's his name? Rollo Tomassi, which, by the way, my opinion on a guy like Rollo Tomassi is very simple, that there's some theory that is accurate when it comes to the nature of relationships, the nature of women, and things like that. But ultimately, where it comes up short is in 2 regards. Number one, if you start focusing too much on the shortcomings of the opposite sex, well, you end up just tying yourself up and never achieving the goal that you want to achieve in the first place. The second thing is, well, if you're going to talk about what works and what doesn't specifically with women, you need receipts. And Rollo does not have receipts. But I will say that in general, I would read his book. If you can get it for free, that's probably the best option. It's not necessarily worth the money, but I can think of worse things for young men to read. I mean, I really, really can. So anyways, the topic of this video is going to be some life advice for young men. By no means do I have it all figured out. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. But I do think at 27 years old, currently, that I have some good information to provide. And I do think currently where I am at is top 20% of the male population. And so I do think that there are some things that I know that I think I would have liked to hear when I was a young man. So that's basically what it is. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm just giving some tips that I would have loved to have heard when I was a young man. Number one, you got to lift weights. Got to lift weights. You know, one thing that a guy like Rollo Tomassi talks way too much about is money, how much women care about money, okay? First and foremost, your sole objective should not be women. Your sole objective should be, as a man, to be a Renaissance man or whatever, a pioneer. In other words, you should be living your life for you. Any other external motivation, or if there's any underlying motivation, such as, well, if I buy this clothes, this jacket, this chick will like me. No, that is wrong. You should not you should not proceed if that's the case. If you're going to buy that jacket, the reason you should buy that jacket is, well, I think it'll make me look better. I want to look better. For me as a man, I want to look sharp. It'll help me with job interviews. It'll help me in many regards and many facets of life. That's why I want to do it. Now, with the lifting weights, I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing to have in the back of your mind that it will help you attract women better. But in general, you should be lifting just because you should. As a man, you should be lifting heavy things. And 2, you should be doing it for yourself, that it's a healthy thing. Going back to what I was saying with Rollo is very simple. Guys like Rollo think that women only care about money. And I remember when I started watching his content, I really, really started to kind of believe that. By the way, the reason why Fuentes' thing is in the background is very simple, because the next video I am going to talk about is discussing people on the right who are terrible, as a conservative myself, and the only real G's in the conservative movement. But anyways, and they get that wrong. You know, are women, do they care about physical looks as much as men? I don't think so. Okay. By the way, if you're looking for my qualifications, I'll just name a few. Number one, I have a master's degree and a BA degree. That's not first and foremost, but I played Division I water polo. You know, I have a full-time job, a good job, and I've done okay with the ladies probably since high school. So I'm doing okay. Okay. Those are just some of my qualifications. All right. I mean, how many more do you really need? But anyways, they do care about looks, maybe not as men, but they do care. There, you know, one thing that guys like Rollo do get correct is they say that there's the 3 P's that women care about: protection, provisions, and parenting. And being buff is kind of part of the protecting. I would say looks are separate from the 3 P's. Anyways, women care about looks. Furthermore, even if they didn't care, it's the best way to get a fulfilling life is to be an in shape guy. And it just is what it is. The second thing I would say, so lift weights, that's number one. The second thing I would say specifically, and I kind of already alluded to this, and it does go along with the first thing a little bit, is as a man, okay, you need to build your life up. And there are rare occasions, rare. And when I say rare, I mean rare, okay, where, sorry if I'm out of breath, I'm, you know, working out while I'm doing this, but in between, there are rare occasions where a woman will be willing to stick by you through thick and thin. Meaning, there are rare occasions where, you know, you might know some girl in high school, and you know, she's your high school sweetheart, and she sticks with you even, you know, at the very beginning of the race. There's the popular phrase, women wait at the finish line and pick the winners. And that is so true. So true. So you need to become a winner. And the reality is that getting sidetracked by these women will slow that process. It really, really will. It'll slow your maturity and the provisioning that you need to accumulate as a man. And then again, furthermore, you should not be living your life for a woman. You should be living your life and building up your life because that's what you want to do as a man. So build up your life. I remember I heard Mike Cernovich say, you know, in your 20s, don't even worry about, you know, women. Just work. And, you know, it's funny, me personally, and by the way, I haven't been perfect with that myself, but I've been a lot better than most men. I see some guys, and I've seen this many times, where like they end up marrying a girl that they knew in high school who never gave them the time of day in high school. And then, you know, all of a sudden, after they have a little bit of resources, this woman's on their job. And then the guy thinks, oh, she loves me. Oh, she loves me. No, she doesn't. Okay. And, you know, let's just logically draw this out. Okay. Let's say that hypothetically it's accurate that it's not rare that it's not rare to meet a woman who is willing to stick with you through thick and thin. Let's say that that's not rare. Let's play it through to its logical conclusion and kind of the statistics that bear themselves out in the United States of America, well, and the West. Okay, well, you marry the chick. There's a 50% chance, if not more, you're going to get divorced. It's even higher if she's had multiple partners before you. And so then what? So, you go from 20 to 30, she has a midlife crisis, and all of a sudden she divorces you. The only thing you have to show for it is 1 or 2 kids, which is nice, but you can get that in your 30s when you're more established. You hit one bumpy road and it's over, it's done. And so my point is that in a society that encourages women to not marry you, and if they do, to leave you, you should be building up your life. The next thing I would say is find out what your purpose is as a man. If it's being a coach, then pursue that above all else, above women, above your family. Pursue that. If it's, being a scientist, go and become the top scientist. I have a master's degree, and what I would say is I'm kind of mixed about going to college. The first part of my statement, I believe, okay, which is to pursue your purpose, okay? Get on your purpose, as they say. But as far as college goes, there are good and bad aspects, okay? The good is that if you do it right, you will build relationships, build friendships that will help you when you get into the real world. It'll also teach you how to operate in, well, quite frankly, the current atmosphere, which is going to any job that is, 60% women, 40% men. So it'll teach you how to navigate through that environment. Get a degree which is not as, it's not worth as much as it used to be, but it's a good accomplishment, okay? It's a good accomplishment. I would say that if you are going to go do training, I would say as a man, you are probably better off going and learning a trade such as welding or, automotive. That's what I would say. But I also would say, if you're not going to spend over 50 grand on school, if you can spend below 50 grand, well, it depends on if you get your master's degree. Let's say you were to go all the way to master's degree. If you could spend less than 50 grand, I would say then maybe that would be okay. Preferably for undergrad, you would spend no more than $25,000. You can pay that off, okay? So that's what I would say. But at the end of the day, ultimately, if it is your purpose, if you want to be a scientist, then go and do that, regardless of what the debt is. Well, I wouldn't say, again, it's so hard. I wouldn't say regardless of what the debt is, but if that is your purpose, go and pursue it. But if college is not your purpose, then don't drop 20 plus grand on school, okay? Because ultimately it's just not worth it to kind of lackadaisically go through it just because you've been told that that's what you should do. There's many, many other options. Many other trainings far cheaper that you can do. You can go and become an apprentice, find some auto shop and say, hey, dude, I'll work for you for free. I just want to learn how to do this shit. And you can do that. So that's what I would say. Okay. Get on your purpose. If school is not your purpose, then don't do it. If it is, then go ahead. The next thing I would say, is probably, let me pull this up here, is to save, okay? Save money. And if here's the thing, okay, depending on where you live, there's some guys in the manosphere who say you got to fucking get out of the house. You fucking got to come on, bro. You got to get fucking out. And I would say that it depends. If you live in California, okay, in a big city, there's really no other option but to stay at home if you can, to save a little bit of money. I don't really see anything wrong with that. Okay. It's just, it's a must with how fucking expensive it is. If you think what would be best for you is to get out on your own and find, regardless, find out, figure out solutions to get out of your misery, because you can do it really. If you wanted to save money and you couldn't stay at home, what you could do is get a gym membership so you could shower there, shit, shower, shave. Well, and also build relationships there, friendships. And well, you could sleep in your car. Now in the winter, I'm not really sure how that would work, but you could do that, especially during the summer months. So I would say save, save, save. And the amount that I would say that you should try and save before you leave is combined $10,000. Okay. If not more. For me specifically, kind of how I think about it, each paycheck is a third, a third, a third. I put a third away into a 401k. I put a third away into savings, and I put a third into my checking account. And by the way, my savings, I have a 401k. I have, I'm also in, I also have my savings put into an online bank, which gives you 0.5% APR interest on the money that you put in there. And then I have money in my savings for my normal bank. So it's diversifying where my money is at. And I would say, like your savings, like 401k, probably the bare minimum would be $8,000 to $10,000 in your savings, $3,000 to $5,000 in your savings, like banking system, your bank, like Bank of America, things like that, not 401k. And I don't know. It doesn't really matter how much is in the checking, because your checking account is basically just what you need to survive. So that's what I would say is that amount of money. Save, save, save. If you have to stay home to do it, fine. Because the reality is that the same guys who say, fucking be a man, fucking get out on, get out of the house, fucking, this and that. Girls don't want fucking dudes who are at home. Those same guys, number one, haven't grown up in the atmosphere that you and I have. And number two, well, if these women want guys with resources, as you say, I'm not the one who says that, you guys are, well, then how do you accumulate resources? Well, you have to, find places where you can cut corners. At the end of the day, what's better? Staying at home for, a couple of years to save money, and then you can buy a place of your own, or, and you can get really stable, or fucking wasting money on an apartment and staying even longer in that apartment. That fucking sucks. So that's what I would say there. So gym, lift heavy things. I would also say to that, any physical fitness, running, swimming, get a fucking gym membership. And if you're someone who doesn't need a gym membership, then, and you can work out on your own, that's fine. You can save money that way. The second thing is to work. Do not get sidetracked in your early 20s, at the very least to your 25, on these fucking females. All they do is suck your resources. That's all they do. Ask yourself this question. We live in a equal society, but ask yourself this question, young man. If you were in a relationship and you lost your job, would that chick cover your expenses? Fuck no, she would not. Meaning it's not equal. Okay. So not only do they suck your resources, but if times got hard, they would not fucking help you out. Okay. There's been many studies that show that women never, ever, or rarely give their own money to men because that's just not what they do. The third thing I would say is find your purpose. And the fourth thing I would say is save. And that's what you got to do. Now, the last thing I want to get to, because I got to get going here, specifically when it comes to relationships and, just kind of a thought of mine. When I grew up, I did believe in marriage. I don't really anymore, not in the West at least. And my overall point, I'm going to make an overall point here. Okay. All the other stuff is kind of secondary. I am a Christian, but I just don't think it's equal for men. If you get a divorce, you're going to lose all your money. Whereas if you were to leave your wife, the courts would not give you anything. Me specifically, my dad, who was a perfectly satisfactory guy, okay, got divorced fucking twice to two women who were fucking average, including my mom. Okay. So all I'm saying is that if that's the case, if that was the case, then what do you think the case is now? Okay. Nothing's ever good enough. You will never be good enough as a man for her. She will be monkey branching from you to other, just keep on going up the totem pole. Don't let them fool you. That's exactly what they do. And my overall point is this, is that in the end, okay, regardless of what I think about feminism, okay, the main issue I have right now, even though I do believe overall marriage is the right thing to do because I'm a Christian and I believe in procreating, the bottom line is when I look around, when I look at my high school, when I look at girls in college, when I look at girls that I have been with, fucking none of them are ready to be a mother or a wife. They don't know how. They haven't been taught because their mothers were whores before them. They were sluts and whores before them, and they divorced their dad. Okay, so if that's the case, as a man, you just need to work on yourself and build yourself up. Be, man up. It's not so bad to be on your own. If you can find a cool chick who doesn't need all these resources, fine, but it's just rare. It's just rare that is the case. All right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. Those are my top 4 pieces of advice. I'll probably talk about this again some other time because this is kind of a fun thing to discuss. And my background is in psychology, so not only do I have my own anecdotal evidence, but I am well versed in all this stuff through and through schooling. So anyways, all right, guys, be sure to smash that subscribe button. Hopefully this channel can grow. Like, comment, share, the whole fucking 9 yards. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a fucking pussy willow. And facts or feelings, your feelings don't matter. Love y'all. Bye.